This is case number 185 ST. We're here for an arraignment. Mr. Eisenhower, did you read and sign this advice of rights form? The contact information on the back, is that accurate?
Yes.
Did you have the opportunity to meet with somebody from the defender's office today?
I kind of briefly talked to him, and then I got my my contact information all updated. So
Okay.
all
right. I have a complaint that alleges that on or about January 16th, 2026, in the city of Cadillac in Wexford County, it's alleged that you committed the offense of operating with no license. Operating while your license was suspended, denied, or revoked. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and or a fine of $500 and possible vehicle immobilization. Do you understand those charges and the potential penalties?
Yes, I do.
You do have the right to be represented by an attorney at all phases throughout this process. And if you cannot afford one, one would be appointed to represent you at public expense, but you may be required to repay a portion of that expense. Today, do you plan to hire an attorney, represent yourself, or request the appointment of an attorney?
Appointed.
All right.
I didn't remember what I was doing there.
All right, the court will make a referral to the public defender's office for the appointment of an attorney. We'll enter a not guilty plea and we'll set the matter for a pretrial. That's where your attorney and the prosecutor will get together to see if there's a way to resolve the case short of going to trial. You also have the right to have a bond set. Your bond is based upon the probability of you appearing at future court appointments, the seriousness of the offense charged, and the threat that you pose to the public. Ms. Carey, any objection to personal recognizance bond?
No.
Mr. Eisenhower, if I allow you to remain out on your promise to come back to court, is there anything that's going to stop you from coming back?
No.
All right. I'll authorize that personal recognizance bond with the conditions that you appear as ordered, keep your contact information current, not leave the state without permission, and to commit no new crimes. Also, this charge does require your fingerprints to be taken. So also as a condition of your bond, I'm ordering that those prints be taken by February 20th. You can go out to the front window where you checked in, get your next court date. You'll have some paperwork to fill out for the defender's office. And then you'll also get a copy of that fingerprint order.
Okay.
You'll need to contact the Wexford County Sheriff's Office to get those prints taken. You can't just stop in. You have to have, you have to have an appointment. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
All right, go out to the front window.
Thank you.
Thank you. No shows. 3-4 SM appearances council.
Lisa Dolphin and people.
Thank you, Your Honor. Taylor and Anna Gavento on behalf of Mr. Huntley, who joins me at council table.
And we are here for a pretrial. Is there any resolution to this matter?
Your Honor, we did receive an offer from Mr. Huntley. I have not had a chance to discuss this specific offer with him yet, due to the fact I was out for a personal emergency and I just got back today. We would ask for the ability to discuss this offer, or alternatively, Your Honor, I do believe we're getting close to 28 days. We would ask for the ability to address bond at this time. What's the exact date?
This might be something that might be able to resolve today if it's possible to give defense.
I don't have time for that today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this for a final pretrial. If it gets resolved, we can certainly get it back on the docket rather quickly. Do we have, for some reason, his arraignment date's not written on the file? Do we? What day was he arraigned?
The 13th.
The 13th.
February 10th is our 28-day mark, Your Honor.
Ms. Dole, do you have any objection to hearing a bond motion today?
Thank you, Your Honor. We would respectfully request that bond be reduced at this time. Again, we're getting close to that 28-day mark. Get that on Tuesday. These allegations are from some time ago, I believe last summer, but the arrest was more recent. We would respectfully request a PR bond.
Does Grant Travers still have a hold on him?
He says yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Dole? Sure.
Your Honor, the offer was going, well, it is
if defendant were to plead to assault and battery and dismiss the aggravated assault, we would do a kill group agreement for no further jail. So considering the offer, the people are not going to object at this time.
Ms. Fiervento, does he also have something pending in Benzie County?
Court date tomorrow, Wednesday.
The case that Grant Travers has the hold on, is that where procedurally is that?
That's in Grand Traverse.
Okay, my notes indicate that there was something pending in Benzie County.
Yes, there is. It's a different case.
Okay. So you've got a case, you've got the hold in Grand Travers that you're going to court tomorrow on?
No, Benzie is tomorrow.
Benzie's tomorrow.
Benzie's tomorrow, and
Okay.
there's just a probation violation case in Grand Traverse.
All right, what's the case in Benzie?
It's a larceny case.
All right. And is that, have you been arraigned on that?
Yes, I
All
have.
right,
It's
so
a
you're like
pre-trial,
pre-trial?
pre-trial examination, I believe.
All right, looking at the defendant's criminal history in 06, I show a driving license suspended, and 10 driving license suspended, another one in 10. 19 was the use of methamphetamine, 20 is an attempt to resist and obstruct, 23 is a driving license suspended. There was a DV with 4A. The praxis scored him at a risk level 5. He self-reported 2 to 3 failed to appears. I note that there was 4. Grand Travers has a hold on him, and he also has a case pending in Benzie County. Ms. Dahl, refresh my memory. What are the allegations here?
The allegations are that the victim showed up at his ex-girlfriend's house trying to get some of his clothes back. Mr. Huntley was the new boyfriend, and he told him to stay away from her and then punched him in the face. And then when the victim was down on the ground, he punched him multiple more times and kicked him. The police report says that there was a possible fractured jaw, but we don't have any further information on whether there was an actual fracture or not.
All right, the 28-day rule does have a rebuttable presumption. The court does find that there's sufficient evidence to rebut that presumption with the numerous failed to appears in the defendant's past. The fact that he currently has 2 other cases pending in Grand Travers and here, and the allegations, I do find that he is a threat. So the court would keep bond where it's currently set. All right, Ms. Garcia, ma'am, are you Peggy Maloney?
Yes, sir.
And you're Kara Jensen, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Jensen, did you receive in your packet of information, it was probably on a pink sheet, your advice of rights?
Yes.
Bear with me, I have to go through those with you on the record. So you have the right to an attorney and the right to proper venue, the right to a jury trial if you request that within a certain amount of time, the right to seek financial assistance, to know that a judgment is not always necessary to get that assistance, although from, also the right to resolve the case with mediation if both parties agree, and the right to a consent judgment or conditional dismissal. Any appeal from this court to the circuit court must be taken within 10 days after a judgment. And on the back of that, it talked about where you could get, or at least reach out for help for financial and legal advice. My question to you today is, are you seeking an adjournment for legal advice?
No.
Are you seeking an adjournment for financial assistance?
No.
All right. Okay. So Ms. Maloney, it looks like you're suing to get termination of the lease.
Correct.
And then it looks like you're also seeking a money judgment. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Right. And how much are you claiming is owed?
At the moment, as of today, between rent and late fees, it's a total of $13,450. Rent.
I'm sorry, what was that amount again? 13,000?
$13,450. There's 3,600 owed in rent, and late fees for several months past due is 9,850.
So I want to make sure I understand right. You're saying that the past due rent is 3,600,
Correct.
but the late fees are $9,850?
It's, she hasn't paid my rent since June of last year. So the late fees have accrued month by month since then, so that's why they're so high.
How much is,
It's $10 per day, late fees.
what I'm going to do then is I'm going to set this for a hearing because we were just at a first hearing today. We will set this for the matter. I know Colleen gave me the date, so that we'll set this for the 12th for a trial then.
Okay, sounds great.
All right.
Okay,
I appreciate it.
Parties can go out to the front window where they checked in and get their next court date.
Thank you.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. 669 LT and you're Ms. Kopenick and Mr. Thomas appears on behalf of the plaintiff. Ma'am, do you remember receiving in your packet the advice of rights form?
I do.
Let me go through those rights with you because I'm required to do that. You have the right to an attorney and the right to proper venue, the right to a jury trial if you request that within a certain amount of time, the right to seek financial assistance and to know that a judgment is not always necessary to get that assistance, the right to resolve the case with mediation if both parties agree, the right to enter into a consent judgment or a conditional dismissal. Any appeal from this court to the circuit court must be taken within 10 days after judgment is entered. And then on the back of that, it talked about where you could get assistance and legal assistance. Do you remember receiving that? All right. Mr. Thomas, where are we at? Well, first of all, is there a resolution to this case at all?
There is, Your Honor.
All right. What is that?
So we did not have any calculation of rent or damages, and this is just a consent judgment to the possession. There is one unconventional, I guess, correction on this form where it says court finds by, the box for hearing was accidentally checked. I've made that correction in front of Ms. Kopenick and she's aware of that.
Okay.
I just crossed it out, initialed it, and checked the consent judgment box. The date that we have agreed for Ms. Kopenick to be moved out by is February 26th of 2026. So about 3 weeks from today. And that's all that we have, Your Honor.
Okay. Have the party sign that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. If you may approach. All right, Ms. Kopenick, it looks like the consent judgment proposed is just as Mr. Thomas presented, that you will vacate the premises by February 26th. Is that your agreement? Also, you'll be liable for damages after moving out if additional rent or damage is owed and a money judgment does not enter. Now, because you are unrepresented in this case, you have 3 business days to decide whether or not you want to follow through with the consent order. All right. If you decide that you don't want to follow through with it, you need to let the court know. Otherwise, the 3rd day, the judgment will enter. However, that doesn't mean that you get 3 additional days to move out. Do you understand that? All right. Has anybody threatened you to get you to sign this at all?
No.
All right. Then the court will go ahead and sign this. All right. Parties can get a copy of it at the front window. All right. Thank you. Do you remember receiving the pink sheet in this case, talking about your rights? All right, I have to go through them with you. So you have the right to an attorney, the right to proper venue, the right to a jury trial, if you request that within a certain amount of time, the right to seek financial assistance and to know that that financial or a judgment is not always necessary to request that financial assistance. The right to resolve the case with mediation if both parties agree, the right to a consent judgment or a conditional dismissal, and any appeal from this court needs to be taken to the circuit court within 10 days after a judgment is entered. And on the back of that, it talks about where you could seek financial assistance and legal assistance. I guess my question to you today is, are you seeking an adjournment for legal assistance or financial assistance?
I am going through DHS and waiting for an answer from them. And I also had just got my first check from my new job. And I was going after here to go get a money order to turn into them
All right. When did you apply for a DHS?
last week.
All right. Okay. Given then that you have started that process, I am going to grant an adjournment. And it looks like that's going to be to the morning of the 27th. You'll need to, there's a form that you're going to have to fill out and file it with the court showing that you applied for that financial assistance. All right. Ms. Fontanelli, anything else for the record?
I just wanted to confirm the time for that hearing, Your Honor. Is that going to be at 10:15 as well?
10:15 as well. Yep.
Thank you. And then if they are able to pay it in full beforehand, great. We would dismiss the case. Same thing that I told the other defendants. If not, we'll be back on the 27th.
Sure. Okay. All right. You can go to the front window where you checked out in and get your next court date. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think that resolves everything unless you have anything else.
All right, this is case number 25-1856 LT. We were here last time on the 29th. We started taking some testimony and I adjourned the matter to do some research on my own regarding lead-based paint and the habitability of the home. And it also indicated I would give the party some more time today. So before we jump back in, is there any resolution of this yet? No? All right.
No, I think I talked to my wife. I think we're probably gonna list it.
Okay. All right, so I have done the research regarding lead-based paint, and it depends on a few factors as to whether or not the home is habitable with the lead-based paint or it's not. And so I want to focus on that aspect for a moment. And I'll remind you both that you're still under oath from the last time that we were here. So Ms. Gary, I'm going to turn to you. When do you recall the lead-based paint being discovered? Or I'm sorry, the lead issue being discovered?
Okay, so I looked back on the dates to see when my son first had his blood taken
Mhm.
for the lead paint.
Yep.
To get the records of it. That was August 13th or August, around that time, August of 21.
Okay.
I think he was born August 28th of 2019, so he's only a year and a half or so.
And then when were there tests done to the home and it was discovered that there were lead
A few
issues?
weeks prior, well, actually, probably
Took a
a few,
while.
like, it took a long time for DHS to get in there to
Okay.
do it. So probably a few more months, but I still had to keep testing my son every month.
Sure.
But the first time it wasn't resolved, so they had to come back in because my second child is also lead poisoned. Had to come in and do stuff outside in the yard. So, because the yard, I guess, had lead paint in it also. But yeah, it's just been an ongoing thing
So,
and other issues in the house.
but right now I just want to stick to the lead issue. So it sounds like maybe around October-ish, November-ish of
Yeah.
21.
They came in, okay, so they came in and like, with having my son get his blood tested, they were there and they were like, this has got to happen right away, da, 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 da. But it took Lansing, because it had to go down to Lansing, and it took them a while to come up here and do it. So, yeah, I would say
So
October-ish.
when you
probably.
say Lansing to come up and do it, to run the tests?
Yes,
Okay,
that's the whole, it sends it all the way down to Lansing. I have the guy's name. His name was Rick something.
okay, but I want to make sure, we're clear. Hold on. I can't muddy the record, so I can only have one talk to a time here. So I want to make sure that I understand what you're saying. Your son was tested in August, came back with the lead poisoning.
Mhm.
And then a couple months later, they came in and did the test of the house, or a couple months
So-
later, or a couple months later, you got the results of the test of the house.
Okay. So my son, I went in to the WIC appointment and WIC started doing lead
testing.
Mhm.
That's how I found out. I didn't find out from the house, found out from my son,
Right,
because my son was acting weird. He was like staring off into la la land, not normal, because I've had 2 other children that didn't do that.
okay,
So she tested it and was like, oh my gosh, and she's like, I have to take that again. She goes, that's not right, that's got to be wrong. She did it again, and usually their highest is 14, where they are like, wow, he was at a 12.
okay, and that was in August,
That was, yeah, sometime around that, yeah.
okay. And then, but somebody comes to the house and tests for lead, correct?
Yes,
And when they came to the house, was that the couple months after August?
yes, and that's when they did the testing.
Okay, all right. And describe for me the condition of the paint, so to speak, at the time that,
Oh, it
That's
chipped. No, it still chips off the side of the windows and stuff, and it's just, I don't know, it's coated like 5 or 6 times, so it's not the greatest, and like you go to the chips and you have to recoat it, and it just chips. It should have been replaced, the wood around the windows.
so back in late 21, what was the condition of the paint?
Chipping and doing all the things that,
And prior to the state coming in and doing their testing, had you notified Mr. Feaster of the condition of the?
yeah, we painted and stuff like that, and we, yeah, we
Okay.
knew about it.
All right.
Because the windows were old. That's what caused the issue, because of the dust from opening and shutting the windows.
Mhm.
Well, we barely could do that because they were so old. But because of the dust inside the windows, it was the paint, it would chip on the corners and stuff like that when we did try to open them.
All right. So, Mr. Feaster, I want to turn to you. When you were here last time, you testified that some repairs had been made to the house after it was discovered the lead issue,
All the
correct?
state came in and put new windows in and they painted too, didn't they? Yeah, they painted. They're replacing what you were doing. The windows.
Okay. And when roughly was that?
When roughly was that?
A
It was
year and a
spread out
half
over six
later.
Hmm?
So about 23 roughly? Sometime in 23?
So no, it would have been a little bit sooner than that, because the second time they came in and pea gravelled the yard, I was 8 months pregnant with my daughter, and she was born February of 23.
So they put rocks all over.
So it was probably a year prior to that.
So sometime in 22 then?
22 possibly, yes. I'm sorry, there was so much going on.
No, I understand. And we're looking back a number of years here. So I get that. And then, so then the new baby has issues.
Yes, sir.
And then the state does another test
Yeah, I had to,
of the property.
yep,
And is that when it's found in the soil?
yes.
All right. And when was that roughly?
Okay, let me think. So it could have been, no, I was 8 months pregnant with her doing the windows and everything. So that is correct, the windows. Because we moved into a hotel for about a week and a half, like week
Well,
and
that
a
was a
half,
lot longer.
maybe 2 weeks, give or take. But I had 2 dogs and it was hectic being 8 months pregnant, trying to be in a hotel room and moving things. Let me just think for a second. When they did the pea gravel, it was this last summer, last spring. So it would have been 23. She would have been just a little bit older. I think I still have the contractor's number in here. Contractor windows. Okay, here, I can tell you. So Monday, April 28th, he told me that he had to get back in there and clean and do some work on the driveway. So on the 28th of April is when they started coming back to do the pea gravel and temp and stuff like that.
of 23.
Yes. Or wait, no, of this sheet. Doesn't give me a ton. Hold on. This is return. Sorry, it doesn't give me it looks like it was this year, but I got a new phone. So I don't know.
So you're saying April of 25? Because
Yeah.
April of this year hasn't hit yet, so.
Yes, April
so
25 is when we did it.
5.
Yes. So yeah, it took them a while to do that too.
Mr. Feaster, does that sound right, that it was April of
She has a
25?
lot better memory than me.
Okay, all right. And so, Mr. Feaster, what months are you claiming rent is not paid for?
Is it on paperwork?
Well,
Rachel, what is it?
well, it's not her job, to present your case, so,
I know.
no, it's not
I'll be going
on the
over the best
paperwork.
they can, I mean,
So the complaint says that rent was paid through June 1st of
I mean,
25.
she doesn't pay me any rent in the last, I don't know, 4 months, every 5 months. So go back 4 or 5 months.
Well, 4 or 5 months puts us back to around October, and when you filed the complaint, which isn't. So, looks like you filed December 1st, and at that point, you were claiming rent hadn't been paid since, or it was paid through June 1st. So is that your testimony then, that you haven't been paid since June?
That's correct.
Ms. Gary, is that correct?
I have a check that I gave him on August 18th for 1,500. So
Are you saying after you?
you said it was June 1st, so yeah, August 15th or 18th, I have the check, a certified check that I gave you.
No, I know you paid me $1,500. I guess I'm confused exactly what time that was, which, you know what I mean? It's been going on quite a while.
Okay. So how much is the monthly rent?
700.
Let me do some math here, just a second. Are there any late fees figured in there? No? All right, so if we got June. And rent is due on the 1st of the month?
On the 6th.
6th. Okay,
Actually, it's on the 24th, but she always pays on the 6th.
let's do the 24th, so
But we
February.
agreed.
Hold on. You guys are muddying up my record horribly here, so.
Sorry.
It's due the 26th,
24th.
24th.
Yes, but because of the way her checks come in from her ex, she always paid me on, yeah, 6th.
And we agreed because I had to move in and clean the house. That would.
Okay, I'm about ready to throw this case out if you people keep talking. There's a process we have to go through. I need each one of you to only answer the questions that I ask. Don't go in a back and forth with each other, all right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So the 24th. So the 24th of February hasn't hit yet, so I want to make sure I understand how this works. When you say that she would pay on roughly the 5th because of the way her checks work, does that mean that you gave her an extension from the 24th to the 5th? Or are we talking she pays the 5th of the month that rent was due the 24th? So for example, if rent's due the 24th of February, she actually paid it the 5th of February.
I was just letting her pay late every time.
Okay, so you granted her an extension then.
Mhm.
So the February rent was actually due by the 5th of March, for example.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ms. Gary, do you agree with that?
We can agree with it.
Well, is that how it was or wasn't it?
I honestly, we've agreed to several different things that I don't. Sure, yes, sir,
All right.
let's do it. I'll just sue him for this lead causing my son with disability.
I have no idea.
Okay.
No, sorry.
Well, I guess I'm trying to do the math here and I can't get it to work out. So at $700, if rent was paid through June, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 months. Actually, it's only 6 months. At the time the complaint was filed, which would be 4,200. But Mr. Feaster, you were claiming 4,800 was owing at the time you filed the complaint. Where's the other 600 come from?
Well, I think 35, or $350 was for the dumpster. I dropped that.
Yeah,
Um,
but you said total rent now due was 4,800 back on December 1st. All right, Ms. Gary, I'm going to turn back to you. Was the lead issue then, as far as you know, taken care of in April of 25?
They said it was, yes, sir, but pop, like the right way for me, no. How it should have been dealt with, no. Because my kids could still get lead paint,
So did you make a rent payment in April?
no,
You didn't?
No.
Did you make a rent payment in May?
no.
Then Mr. Feaster, how are you claiming rent is paid through June 1st?
I'm so sorry. I'm thinking it's later than what it is. Yes, I paid him those things because I paid him $1,500 with a certified check
Okay, when did you make that $1,500 payment?
on the 18th of August. And a $300 money order.
How much was that check?
The check was $1,500.
And the money order was 300?
300. I swear I had a couple more, but I
What
had to move everything and I can't find stuff now. since
what
we-
date did you make the $300 payment?
I think a couple days after that. I would have to
But
look at it.
in August, as far as you know?
I believe so, sir.
What months were that $1,800 for?
Because I owed back, my back rent was seven and seven, 2 months prior to that. And then I paid him the 300 for one of the months. So you said it was April, June, July, August. So I paid him April's and June, or April and March. And he said I didn't pay on June. And then I paid him 300. And then July.
Mr. Feaster, do you remember receiving $1,800 from her in August?
I remember 1,500. I don't remember the 300, but. like I said, my memory was a lot better 20, 30 years ago.
Do you not have any record keeping
Yeah, but,
ledgers?
well, normally I had a receipt book, but I always gave her a receipt, but I couldn't find it. Didn't always get the receipt and everything.
Because I paid you cash,
Yeah, I gave you the receipt.
not all the time, but yes, most of the time.
So Ms. Gary, I want to ask you, why had you not made the March and April payment on time?
Because my child support wasn't on time.
And when you first had the lead issues back in 22, were you making your payments then?
Yes, sir.
All right. And between 23, when the lead is found in the soil, up until March of 25, had you been making your payments
Yes,
then?
sir.
All right. All right. So what I come up with is from June through January, that's 8 months at $700, that's 5,600. And then I credit back the $1,800. I come up with, well, but wait, you said that 1,800 was for March and April, right?
I believe so, sir.
So you would get 300 back. Which just brings us to $5,300 then.
But the times that I left the house, he said I didn't have to pay the rent when I left for the lead stuff.
That's
Okay.
correct. That's correct.
So then why, if that's the case, then why did you send a payment for April? You said that the $1,500 was March.
Because it was when we moved out to the hotel, when they had to do the yard. So
Okay.
April 28th, it was the end of, he didn't come in right at April. He had to wait a few more weeks.
Okay.
So they didn't come in until later, so I had to pay April's. And so March, I paid because I had to pay rent the next month.
So you were in the hotel for roughly a month.
Well, no, it was probably a week and a half. But we agreed. because I
Mr.
had to
Feaster,
pay-
how long do you think she was in the?
I thought it was about 3 weeks.
All right.
That was the first
I
time.
remember it was a lot longer what they told her.
Okay.
The first-
Oh, maybe I'm thinking first time.
All right. So Ms. Gary, you're saying roughly a week?
Yeah, I
Yeah, it was
forgot
like a
about this.
week. That's why I was upset because the yard wasn't done properly how it should have been.
Has there been any other testing since April, since the work was completed?
Not with the the yard. I mean, they came in and did it, but since the snow was hit and stuff and all, they didn't. I want them to come back in, but since I'm probably not gonna be living there, there's no point. They're just gonna have to follow me to the next house. Be done dealing with it.
All right, so just so we're all keeping score, the $700 times 8 months, I get 5,600. I think there'd be a credit of $100 out of that 1,500 because you said that that was for March and April, which would only been $1,400. So that was an overpayment of $100. Then giving credit for that $300, and then the credit for the week that you were in the hotel, I calculate rent at about roughly $175 a week. So I come up with a total as of right now of $5,025. Does that sound about right? All right. So, Ms. Gary, I'm going to turn to you. Is there a, other than the lead issue, because we've discussed that, is there any other reason why you should not be responsible for the rent?
I mean, I've had to deal with mice problems left and right. I mean, I can't even use some of the cupboards and stuff. And I've had there's still holes in the floors on the side of the houses and stuff. And I've had to fix a few things myself. The shower door still wasn't, dealt with, and I have to constantly pay for a curtain for a shower. So. And
What do you mean the shower door?
so the door, it broke.
Okay.
Because for some reason it just shattered. We opened it up and it.
So it's an open.
It was, yeah, it was one
opens.
like that.
Okay.
And I had no clue because there's no really rubber around the glass or anything like that. And I was like, okay, all right, well, and then the metal rusted apart. So there was no putting it back together because I did buy another piece of glass and I tried to put it in there and it shattered on me.
How long ago was that?
A few months. It's been a few months we've been dealing with that.
Was it anywhere within this time period from June?
Yes.
And
Then we just found a hole in the side of the house and we had to, because our pipes were freezing on those cold days. And it was about this long and about this far away from the foundation.
how long were your pipes froze? How long were you?
Just a couple days. We made sure we couldn't leave it like that. Because it was our washer to our shower and our toilet downstairs that was all doing it.
And was Mr. Feaster made aware of that?
I told him that we fixed it because he even said, hey, make sure the pipes don't freeze.
Okay.
Because it was 42 degrees in our basement
How,
and it was 80 degrees in upstairs.
and was that a couple weeks ago?
Yes, sir.
The door for the shower, did you talk to Mr. Feaster about that? And when was that?
Months we've been,
Was since June.
yeah,
And do you recall what you paid for the shower door?
no, I got it from a friend of mine that had a piece of glass that was sitting there. And he's like, it's probably the right size, and sure enough it was.
And then you talked about holes in the floor. Describe that for me.
So like when you, in our dining room, you walk into our dining room and on the corner over here, I can clean it out and vacuum it and everything. And in a few, couple hours, there's particles of say termites, if something ate it and stuff like that. That's what it's like over there. And it's only about this yay big and it's been there for years and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I don't have the money because first off, when they came and did the lead, I was redoing the floors. I was sanding them all and I was repolishing and doing all that stuff to help out with my rent. So I could get, some stuff off my rent because that's what we agreed to. Well, I will fix things, no problem. Well, they stopped me from working on the house and putting dust up in the air because of my kids. And I said, that's no problem. So that wasn't fixed. And I left that alone because I knew why it wasn't getting fixed, but it's still there. There is a hole and it's been there since day one because where the chimney, the wall, I have pictures of it if I can find them. Water seeping through, you can see like the brown and it's cracking and I had to fill that with mud and everything.
How
And
long
I
ago?
told him about that. That's months, probably a good year. It's been like that. So, cause I was painting, cause he said I could paint, so I started painting more. So right when you got up the stairs, right where the chimney is, there's a hole. You can see right down into the rafters from where it looks like squirrels or mice, but it's a massive hole and it's always been there. I just always put something over top of it, so I didn't see it.
Okay, anything else?
It leans so bad that everything sits on a tilt. Like I can put a ball in the middle of my floor and it rolls.
But that didn't happen yesterday,
No,
so,
that's been ongoing.
okay. Anything else?
I've had to deal with, it's fixed now, thank goodness, but a broken pipe that I couldn't use the downstairs bathroom for a good year and a half until he fixed it. A ceiling that the fire department, and I do have the records of those because I asked the fire department to send me the things that they made him fix because the ceiling in the kitchen fell down because it was this stuff, because the squirrels dropped in my house and walnuts, and I had to chase squirrels in my house, and one went down my vent to my basement.
How long ago was that?
That was a couple years ago.
Okay.
But the department made him fix the ceiling. And now I have just critters I can hear up in there. So. But yeah, other than that,
All right. Anything else you want me to know?
I still paying rent when that's happening.
Mr. Feaster, I know you dropped off an envelope the other day. I can't look at it because it hasn't been received yet as evidence, and I don't know whether Ms. Gary has looked at it. Is this something you want the court to consider?
Sure.
Has Ms. Gary seen this?
No.
All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you to show this to her before I take a look at it, all right? The bailiff will bring it to you.
Okay. And all that's taken
Ms.
care of.
Carrie, I don't need the commentary. I'm just asking you to look at it.
Do I have to read all this?
Well, he's gonna ask me to look at it, and I wanna know if you're gonna have any type of objection to it. So
Oh, I'm
that's-
gonna have every objection to it, no matter if I read it.
I gotta tell you,
This is all before,
all right. Mr. Feast, are you asking the court to look at this
Yes, I am,
information?
Your Honor.
All right, bailiff, may I have it, please? And Ms. Gary, do you have any objection to me looking at the photographs?
you may look at them,
Do you have any objection to me reviewing this handwritten?
you may look at it.
All right, the court receives it. Give me just a moment. Okay, so Mr. Feaster, the window screens that you're talking about, that was what you're saying the cats did, correct? And that, I'm assuming, is the banister or the newel post that you're alleging the dogs did some damage to? What's the photo of, is that you up on the roof?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's that photo? What's the significance of that photo?
The older toys in the yard, a lot of times older toys.
Okay, so it's what's down here, not that you're up on the roof.
Oh, yeah,
doing
we were
something.
just re-roofing that house.
Okay, all right. And then there's this railing picture.
Yeah, where the dogs chewed up the spindles.
All right.
I believe they're still like that. She said she's gonna fix it.
When, so like the photo with the spindles, when, to the best of your recollection, was that taken?
Well, that was a while. What was that, 2 years ago?
To the best of your recollection,
2 years ago.
2 years ago. All right. So after they came in and fixed the first issue with the lead, but before they did the yard work.
think that's. Yeah, okay, sure.
Does that sound right? I mean,
I can't.
Okay.
Or is there a date on the picture?
there is no date on the picture. I'll ask you in a second.
Okay,
The Newell Post, to the best of your recollection, how long ago was that?
well, I just took those pictures all at the same time.
Okay, so these are all from about the same time period. All right, Ms. Gary, what did you want to say about that?
All that is way before, because I had to clean the yard. And that car was out of there in a matter of less than 3 days. Wasn't sitting.
I'm not necessarily concerned about that because he agreed to drop the cost for the dumpsters. So what about the Newell
Spindles?
Post
Oh,
and the
yeah,
spindles?
they're getting fixed. I wasn't gonna fix them until I moved, because there's no point. I've had my kids fall down those stairs and bust a couple of them. And yes, my cats like to scratch them. So why would I even put new posts in somewhere unless they are gone and not visible there to remove them and have my cat scratch them and cost me more money? That's just, I think, not too smart of my own self to cost me more money when I barely can afford 4 kids and I have 18 cats.
Okay, all right. Anything else, Mr. Feaster?
Yes, Your Honor, I mean, the firemen go through there every 3 years, and they fix everything that needs to fit. And tried to get a mouse problem, she had 18 cats and 5 dogs. As far as the kitchen ceiling, I think it was cats that probably got there and made it collapse. They were jumping over everything everywhere.
But that was fixed as part of the rental inspection?
Yeah, I fixed that, yeah.
Had you been made aware of that before the rental inspection?
Maybe a little bit before, yeah.
All right.
But it's, I don't know, it's hard to put a lot of money into a house with 18 cats and 5 dogs and ripping everything up.
All right, Ms. Gary, anything else?
It took him a while to, I mean, they had the fire department come in and make him fix that ceiling because it wasn't done.
Was that the last inspection?
Yes.
When was that last inspection?
I believe the last inspection. Okay, it was Friday. That's the date of the 30th. 10/10 of 23. Let me go back, because it's every 3 years, I believe it is, right?
I believe so, yeah.
And then the other one was 4/11 of 23 was when they first came in.
So they did the follow-up inspection to make sure
On the
everything had been
10/10,
repaired.
Yes. Okay, and then they had one prior to that also at 2/28 of 23. So I had 3 different ones.
Why 3? Were there issues with the first one?
Because it wasn't done when they wanted it done at the time.
Did they actually do the inspection in February? Or was it just scheduled and then postponed?
Failure to appear inspection. I think it was done because it has rental inspection and it has pass. And then all the others. Would you like
And that's the February one?
Yes, sir.
But in any event, the last one was done in
So what?
November of 23.
Yes.
All right. And then it hasn't been re-inspected yet because it'll be due in the fall of this year.
October.
Yep. All right. Anything else? All right. Well, the court is going to address the lead issue first because that seems to be what everything is, I don't want to say everything, but that seems to be a big driving point here. And based on my research, there are times when the presence of lead-based paint does make a home inhabitable. And that is when there becomes a lead-based paint hazard. So the mere fact that there's lead-based paint in the home does not rise to the level that it's a hazard. When it does become the hazard is when, I'm reading from MCL 333.5458, says lead-based paint hazard means any of the following conditions. Any lead-based paint on a friction surface that is subject to abrasion or where the lead dust levels on the nearest horizontal surface are equal to or greater than the dust lead levels identified in the rules promulgated hereunder. Any damaged or otherwise deteriorated lead-based paint on an impact surface that is caused by impact from a related building component, any chewable lead-based painted surface on which there is evidence of teeth marks, any other deteriorated lead-based paint in or on any residential building or child occupied facility, surface dust in a residential dwelling or child occupied facility that contains lead in mass per area concentration equal to or exceeding the levels established by the rules, and any bare soil on residential real property or property of a child occupied facility that contains lead equal to or exceeding levels established by the rules promulgated hereunder. So because the lead issues in this case were back in 22 and into April of 25, that lies outside of the areas in which rent was not paid for, with the exception of the April back rent that was paid in August, but in any event, it was paid. So it's the court's position that any claim that the house, that rent should not be paid because of the lead issue has been waived by paying that rent. So now the issue becomes, is the defendant responsible for rents paid or rents due from June through essentially it's going to be January because the February rent isn't due yet. And many issues were raised regarding the condition of the home. And we discussed many issues that were dealt with at the last rental inspection back in 23, the fall of 23, which was well before the rent wasn't paid in this case. Now, there is some concerns regarding the shower door and the condition of that shower. However, I've been presented nothing with an offset of that because we don't know what that cost. As far as the holes in the walls and those other things that were testified to, it sounds as if the holes were there when the home was moved into. I don't necessarily find that those are reasons to not pay the rent as due. However, so what I calculated the rent to be, as I said before, using the math that I went through before, I calculate rent owing at $5,025. The court is going to, on its own, so I find that that's the amount owing. I am going to give a credit, even though I can't necessarily put a dollar figure on it entirely, but I will put a credit of $100 for the shower door, bringing that down to $4,925. As such, I find that Mr. Feaster, based on the land records, is the owner of the property. He is entitled to possession of the property for back rent. And the judgment will enter based on the hearing. I find that the plaintiff has the right to recover. Rent now due is $4,925. $925. Mr. Feaster is entitled to costs as well. Filing fee was $130. And service was $60.40 for a total of $190. $190.40, sorry. Thereby bringing the total to $5,115.40. Defendant has until February 17th to pay that, or an order of eviction will enter. Defendant may be liable for money damages after moving out from the property. Partial payment will not stop an order of eviction from entering, and no money, oh, hold it. Yeah, a money judgment will enter. For damages in the amount of $4,925 and costs in the amount of $190.40 for a total of $5,115.40. Bailiff, can you give this back to Mr. Feaster? And the parties can go out front and obtain a copy of the judgment.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are adjourned.